Sheniqua Johnson, international inspirational speaker, best-selling author, multi-preneur, and wellness strategist. Sheniqua is the CEO of A Better You, where she specializes in helping busy moms take care of themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially so they can continue to love and lead their families 100% without subtracting anything from themselves. Sheniqua is the lead facilitator and wellness strategist for A Better You Academy, where she offers online training and accountability for women looking to strengthen their health and wellness. She also pens the wellness newsletter, The Wellness Encounter, which brings inspiration and information for your implementation every Wednesday. She is also the CEO of Stronger Through Faith Media, where she helps you get your message to the masses through books, podcasts, and television. Sheniqua is the host of the television show The Heart of the Matter with Sheniqua Johnson RN, which streams on Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Comcast, Google Play, and Apple. She is also the host of Sisterly Sundays podcast. Let's welcome Sheniqua Johnson. All right, hi everyone, I'm Dr. Vernita Glenn-White, the Brilliant Solutionist and Coach Sultan for highly ambitious women and men. Well, if you have not been in one of my series before, I love interviewing the top of the top, the cream of the cream, most interesting people that I know in the world, and I am bringing them here with you. We have some great things to talk about. You all have seen her before. You all have seen her in a variety of things that are associated with me. But just like I up level, she definitely up levels, and she has some amazing things to share with us this time around. So I want you to welcome my friend, and I'm just going to say my business bestie, Miss Sheniqua Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Sis, listen, when you know whatever you're doing, I am there to support you wholeheartedly. So whether I'm a guest or I'm tuning in, like, listen, I am here for it all. But I do thank you from the bottom of my heart for always thinking of me and celebrating me and bringing me into your platform to speak to your audience. I'm really honored to be here. So call me a friend to the show, but I am truly honored each time.
Seriously, a friend to the show, and you have to remember like your day ones, because we're gonna blow up, and I just love that we're gonna have this record.
Documentation, baby. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so when I started this series and I reached out to you, I said I wanted you to share your brilliance. My whole vibe, my whole movement is embrace your brilliance and expand your life. Now, I said I know what I mean when I say it, but I always love to hear what other people think when they hear that. So when you hear embrace your brilliance and expand your life, what do you think, or what does that mean to you?
The first thing that comes to my mind is you have to use what you have to get what you want. Is that not what we've been trained to do since what? We were in pre-K? Like, what do you have in your hands? And that's what embracing that brilliance is. What do you have in your hands? And now you're going to expand your life. Well, you're going to use what you have to now get you to that next level to where you want to go in your life.
Wow. See, this is how in sync we are, because when I hear you say that, the next part of that is I believe we have two types of brilliance. I believe we have a learned brilliance and a born brilliance. And you touched on a little bit when you said use what's in your hands, but when you hear learned brilliance, and I'll do the definition of what I think. Learned brilliance is like a skill, that a talent that we've learned how to do. It's kind of second nature, but we had to hone that skill. I think of born brilliance as a gift, what you're born with, what the Lord above said here. Okay. Yes. So what do you think is special about using what's in your hands? What does that mean in those two scenarios? And do you think we need both?
Well, it's definitely using both. Right? So I've been a registered nurse for 21 plus years. So would it be wise for me to just totally negate that, you know, education that I went through, the graduate education that I've been through, is it wise for me to abort all of that? No, that was my time, my effort, and my energy invested in this brilliance. So of course you want to be able to use that. But if you're someone who sings, you've got a lovely voice, again, you're using what it is that you have, whether it's something that you're born with, right? Like that commercial, maybe she's born with it, maybe she is. Maybe she's born with it, or maybe she went to school for it. Either way, it's her brilliance, and she has the right, or he, let me not leave the men out, you have the right to use it however you would like. But here's the unfortunate portion of that. Not everyone uses it. They feel guilty about those God-given talents. You think Beyonce caring whether or not Sheniqua Johnson was born without the gift of singing? Do you think she's going to now sit in her mansion worried to say, no, I'm not going to go out there and sing my latest tune because someone else does not have the gift? You share the gift. So we have to come out of hiding, because yes, a lot of people hide their brilliance. Not to step, I didn't come here to step on people's toes, but if I am,
no step,
it is what it is, right? Let's do this too.
Let's do it.
A lot of times people hide from those born skills, those learned, the learned ones. So the ones you're born with and your learned ones, you hide them. When you're in a corporate environment, you know you're smart, you got the degrees in it, but guess what? You're sitting quiet because you don't want people to think that you all that. Well, honey, if you all that, why not be all that? That's for them to deal with. It's not for you to micromanage and try to control the flow of it. Your calling is to flow in whatever that brilliance is. So if you paid for it, flow in it. If you earned it from your mama, flow in it, right? So your gifts will make room for you, but you have to be confident enough to know and wise enough to use it.
Oh, wow. You know, I love that, because I was going to ask you if there had been a time where you focused so much on your learned brilliance instead of your born brilliance. And I like the example that you gave. It's like, well, we're not using it. So can you like narrow down or drill down a little bit more into that as to why maybe you have, or why we tend to focus more on that learned brilliance and hide that born brilliance?
So again, being a nurse, 21 plus years, I have obtained a certain level of skills from the different environments that I've worked in. I've gained some skill set. Now, I brought in some skill set because I did spend time in college and I took the test and I passed, and I was able to now earn these credentials. Right. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm using them. So when I go and I apply for a job, yes, I'm a nurse, but am I utilizing all of my skill set? So if I'm a nurse who is proficient in typing, right? But I'm not working in a job where that skill is being cultivated, you kind of you lose it, right? Or you forget about it, or you hide it. If you're accustomed to learning being in person, and then it comes an opportunity for you to do online, and you're like, no, I don't do that because I'm always in this environment. Like, so it all does play itself out. And it's a matter of you being bold enough to say, am I willing to use all of what God gave me? Not some of it, all of it. And God has blessed me, and I'm not going to be shy about that. He has blessed me with certain gifts. I'm still learning some of these here gifts. Let's just be clear with that. And I didn't always walk boldly in it. But now what I'm learning is that God wants me at the forefront. He wants my light to shine so that others can be impressed upon what he can do, not what I can do, but what he can do through anyone. So I feel as though it's my responsibility to make certain that at some point in my time here on earth, that I am utilizing those skills. Now, I am a business owner, and one would think that a registered nurse who's worked in the hospital would not necessarily, unless I'm owning a hospital, right? Like that would be the business people think I would go and they say, oh, she's going to buy a hospital, she's going to own a hospital. No, I don't want one. I don't want one. But does that mean that I totally erase the nursing part of my life? So what I've had to do is embrace that brilliance, because I'm not letting that go. I wanted to, and I struggle with it sometimes, but you know what? That was a lot of work that went into that. So why let it go? So I have a wellness business. Right. So it ties in. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You're not going to leave your job to go duplicate what it is that you were doing over there. You didn't like it over there. Why would you come in your own business and literally duplicate it? You use the same skill set, whether it's something that you learned or something that you're just naturally gifted with.
I love that you said something key in all of that is the cultivation of both brilliance. Just because you've learned the skill set, if it's not being cultivated, it's not going to be beneficial. And just because you're born with something, you may have the natural gift of singing, but if it's not cultivated, then it's not going to work.
Here's an example. When I was a kid, I had a bike. I rode a bike as a kid. Ask me if I could ride a bike now.
Can you ride a bike now? You mean like the pedal, the two-wheel bike, a bicycle?
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it.
Wow.
And people say, oh, no. Once you ride a bike, you never forget. Well, listen, I haven't been on a bike in God knows how many years. Wow. So that skill set was not cultivated. It started, it was initiated, but it wasn't nurtured. It wasn't cared for. It wasn't cultivated each and every day of my life, or at least moments of my life. So I lost that. So what I bet would I bet my life on riding a bike and say, girl, you better get on there? No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even put myself in that position because I know I didn't cultivate that. Needless to say, if there was a time in my life, the Lord says, well, Sheniqua, I'm going to need you to get on this here bike. Well, then that's when the cultivation process would start all over again. And then I would buy a bike and I would get on the bike every day and I'd do my little bobbing and wiggling on it for a little bit until I grew proficient in it. So with everything, whether it's something that you learned in the past, it does take you spending your time, your effort, your energy, and sometimes even your money on it.
You know what? Well, I'm gonna go into that other part, what you just said. I'm gonna put a pin in that. But there are some people, when we talk about born brilliance, sometimes there's a group and we talk about the spiritual gifts that God has given us. That some people say it's 5, it's 12. I'll be honest, I gave up on knowing what it is. But I know for me, one of my born brilliance, the gift, it is teaching. And that's one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And we can talk about cultivating all of that. That's true. But I want to know, like, what do you believe your spiritual gift is?
Well, there are several gifts that I believe that the Lord has given me. One, likened to yourself, is that gift of teaching. And we often think that teaching means that you have to be in a classroom. Right. And if you close yourself off to that premise, then you're going to totally miss the concept. Like I mentioned, your gifts will make room for you. It will make room for you. The fact that you're gifted to be a teacher will make room for you. But if you just want to stay in the schoolhouse, then you just might miss the expansion.
Absolutely.
So
say that.
So teaching is one of those gifts. I do believe there's some other helms that the Lord has placed upon me. One of which is to be an encourager. And when that was identified, when my spirit now related and was in agreement with what God has been saying, it now explains why I went into nursing. that
Right.
yearning to be the encourager to help people go from a place of lack to now being in a place of abundance. That was that yearning that was inside of me. And I thought I was called to nursing because of that. So I always looked at nursing as one of my learned skills. It's both. It's what I was born to do, and it's what I have learned to do. So being that encourager, helping individuals to see their potential, to even if they don't see the potential, to trust the Holy Spirit inside of me. When I say there's more, like trust that and run with it. So it does come from understanding. And once I released myself from that box, saying that I'm a nurse and I have to do nursing things, once I released myself, then that's what opened the door for the expansion for me to take that skill set, that underlying skill set of encouragement, and now putting it on different platforms. So it looks different wherever I'm at. If I'm standing on a stage, I can encourage you about whatever it is, if it's on a conference, whatever the conference is about. If it's in a classroom, I encourage my students, my trainees. I can, wherever I'm at, I literally utilize my gifts. I've been in church, sitting in church, and a lady sit down next to me and her ankles are swollen and she decides to start telling me and showing me. Now I'm in church, I'm trying to get the word of God, and here she is wanting an assessment. Wow. Did I have a t-shirt on that said that I was a nurse? No, but she obviously picked up something. Or maybe the Lord whispered something in her ear and said, talk to her about it, baby, because she gonna listen. Everybody else in this house is not trying to pay you no attention, but her, she gonna listen. And sure enough, I look down, I start giving advice, I start encouraging her, I start telling her some things that she can do. Why? Because I was not on the job. But that is innately in me. So recognizing those innate gifts that are in you. And a lot of people say, well, how do I know? Because I didn't always know. I'm not going to sit here like I just arrived, like I was born like this. Right. No. How it comes is by listening to what people say. But here's the caveat. Because I don't want no one running and listening to what everybody's saying. I'm not saying that. Here's the second. So stay tuned. Listen to the second piece.
Yes,
listen. The first piece is to listen to what people are saying. The second portion of that is tested against the word of God. If it lines up with the word of God, then run with it. If it doesn't line up with the word of God, abort it and move on.
Wow, I love that. Those were great examples, and I want you all to hear this. And what I love is sometimes my guests will see questions, but they really don't know the direction we're going, and we just let it flow. And a lot of things I don't share with them at all. And I think it's interesting that you said, when I talk about the two types of brilliance, I didn't give you any visual of, and I don't think I've done this visual too much out in public. But I see learned brilliance and born brilliance. And I think a lot of times we do this, our learned brilliance goes on top of our natural gifts and talents. But what if it was reversed? Just like you said, you've always been an encourager at somewhere inside, and it led you to being a nurse. So it's like your born brilliance is on top of or encapsulated your learned brilliance. And I think that's how you get to expansion. So I love that you said that without me giving that visual, because that was a perfect example. So thank you for that. And those
and it's brilliant. That mindset shift is literally brilliance in action. So stop thinking about things the way you've always known it to be. And can you open your mind to embrace another way? So there's not always one path to get to the purpose. Maybe it's going to come in a different way, but are you open-minded enough to say, well, let me think about this. Let me think about it. Because we're taught. Now, here's the funny part about this. We're taught that the learned skills go on top of the born ones. We're taught that. We're literally taught that.
You talk too much. Oh, that means you like to argue. That means you're supposed to be a lawyer.
Yeah. So what if it was the other way around? That's brilliant thinking right there.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. That's what happens when you get around other brilliant people. So
Listen.
I came up with this method, this framework that I think talks about brilliance and is really about going from resume to reinvention. And I call it the
Mhm.
STEAM optimization method. STEAM acronym, not the old school STEAM like I was in. Well, I call it STEM. People want to insert the A, but we're talking about skill optimization, time optimization, energy optimization, ambition optimization, and money optimization. So STEAM optimization. So when I connected with you like way, way back, it was okay. She has her own publishing company and she's an author and she does speaking. And then as you've expanded, it's like okay, now you have the wellness company. You're getting back into like really
Mhm.
speaking, and you're this whole media mogul personality type person. And I was like, that was not a few years ago. So when
Mhm.
I think of your brilliance, let me see, what do I have here when I think of your brilliance? I have you as skill and energy because I wanted to focus on the media aspect because that is a skill. I'm going to say when we were talking that it really wasn't on your radar like
Mhm.
well, I guess because I have some background knowledge, but it's like it wasn't on your radar really if anybody's like out just looking at you. And then the energy part, I know you're big on that. You've had some
Mhm.
courses where you talk about that. It's a whole thing people can go through. So I want you to just dive in a little bit and share your brilliance in those two areas and why you think it's important for high achievers, um, ambitious women and men to have something related to media because the world we're in,
Mhm.
why that is important, and then maybe how that relates to energy, or you can pick any one of those methods, one of
Okay.
those,
All right.
yeah.
So it was not on my radar. Was not what was on my radar was nursing, right? The learned skills were sitting on top of the born ones. So I never even thought about media. And then for some reason, the Lord has me just keep going back to this point where your gifts will make room for you. So the fact that I was embracing my gifts and pursuing God and really trying to find out more about what it is that He has called me to do, what it is my purpose. Um, from being a child, I was very animated. I have that gift to be animated. Not everybody knows me to be very animated, but oh, I got that gift. Trust and believe. If you look back at some of my old school pictures, you'll be like, girl, yeah, I was divalicious back in the days, right? So it's in me. It's
Hmm.
in me, right? And it's now, am I going to use it? So what the Lord has also shown me about myself is my voice. When I was growing up, I never liked my voice. And I use this word, and someone actually used this word towards me, and they used it in a very negative way. And it just kind of reminded me, I used to think my voice was very animated.
Hmm.
And a few years back, someone released that again over my life, trying to signal something inside of me to say, oh, remember, close your mouth now. They think you're animated, close your mouth. I already told you that I was born with that, right? That's something that was inside of me. So I had a choice. Am I going to embrace now what you're trying to use as something negative against me? Or am I going to walk into my calling and my God-given talents? So yeah, my voice was very animated. I always said I sound like I could be on one of those cartoons. Like I could do voiceovers for cartoons. And I promise you, if the opportunity comes, I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it, right? But God literally changed my voice. So where it was back in the days, I never liked the way I sound. Now not that I love the way I sound, but my voice ministers to me.
Mm.
So I'm that type of person after a speaking engagement. Yes, I want it recorded because I want to hear it back
Oh wow.
because I literally minister to myself. And I figure, hey, if I'm ministering to me, somebody else might get a piece of it, right? I'm not going to be selfish with it.
Right.
Come on, like let's bring it forth. So that is me walking in those talents, those God-given talents, and it's only natural to be in the media industry. where did it start? It started from a book that I knew that I was a good writer, right? Because I used to love my journals. I used to read back my journals. I'm like, oh, that was good. Oh, that was juicy. Oh, like what's coming next? Like you lived it. What you mean what's coming next? You already know. But that's how my writing stimulated me. So why would God just let me, keep that all to myself? So when I finally aligned myself with the will of God, that's when the book came. And I was good. I was like, yes, woo, did it. Check the box, Lord. We did that. And he was like, it's cute that you want to celebrate this, but there's more. And then more birthed out the publishing company, Stronger Through Faith Publishing.
Yes.
Where now I'm able to help others get to that point where they want to celebrate and they want to rejoice that they wrote the book. They're checking the boxes off. Yay, right?
Right.
But then I kept hearing more. And I'm like, am I crazy? Is there something wrong with my hearing that I'm constantly hearing more? Every time I get to one step, the next step is calling me, and the next step, and the next step. And sometimes I could be down at the bottom and the upper steps start calling me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What you say? Really? What? But I'm always going after that more. So Media Mogul, I claim it. I claim it. I will go after it wholeheartedly. And that's every area of media that the Lord has told me to be in. So from the publishing company, getting people to build their stories, now is the media company, Stronger Through Faith Media, where we're helping you get your message to millions. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. We could do that. We could accomplish that goal through books. Yes, we can. But why stay there? Wow. Because everybody's not reading a book.
Right.
Some people want to watch it on TV. And yes, TV is making a comeback. Yes, yes, yes. Those good old days of pandemic made everybody now sit in their house and say, use what you have for your entertainment. And let's not even talk about that moment in time where the internet, where Facebook shut down and everybody was in a frenzy, like they didn't know what to do.
Facebook
you
and
better
Instagram.
Use what you have. I'm telling you, and what you have before you is the power to still get your message out to the masses. You can still speak to people, but you've got to be where people are at. So if people are in the bookstores, you need to write a book. If people are listening to podcasts, you need to start your podcast. If people are watching television, then you need to start your own TV show. And that's what the Lord has allowed me to do with the Heart of the Matter with Sheniqua Johnson RN, because I am here to talk about things that other people don't want to talk about, like mental health. Who better to talk about mental health than a nurse? I'm just saying. But I'm also a nurse who struggled with mental health. So whoop, there it is. I took something that was meant for evil and I turned it around for my good. And now I've got a television show about it. Right? So it won't stop if you keep going for that next level and striving. And yeah, I sit here and say, and that's the media is one entity. Then there's the wellness entity, because like I said, I'm not letting go of that, 21 plus years of experience, all of that education and schooling that I went through, from the bachelor's degree, from the master's degree. I'm not letting all that go wasted. God says I don't have to. Just because God gives you something, just because he gives you something doesn't mean that you have to abort everything. No. You can put it to the side. You can cultivate it. You can turn it. You can reposition it. So now you'll be able to use it in whichever platform you choose to go. So what I've done with that is I've literally used my years of experience. Now I'm sharing it with others because I've got that gift of encouragement, and I'm encouraging everyone to get their lives together. And that is mentally and physically, because the two do go hand in hand. And yes, energy was one of my best kept secrets. As a nurse, all of those years of a nurse, I wasn't thinking about energy. I was just trying to get through the day. Like, what do I need to do to get this day over with? But the secret sauce that many people don't realize is that when your energy levels are up, you're good.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this, I'm going to share this, even though you're not supposed to tell people when you're fasting. I haven't had a lick of food all day today.
Wow.
And my energy, girl, I could run with this energy.
Okay.
Why? because energy comes divinely.
Mm-hmm.
It also comes from the foods we take in. It also comes in from the nutrients, the supplements, which, we're big on our supplements.
Yes.
So when you're fueling, because I did take my supplements today. Let's just keep that. Let's keep that out there, right? Right. You wouldn't stop taking your medications, and those supplements have become my medication. Right. It's what's keeping me going. It's what's allowing me to work multiple businesses at the same time.
There it is.
Do I get tired? Absolutely. But that's when you rest. You don't stop, you don't quit, you don't give up, you rest, and then you come right back. So yes, that steam is a little like I'm running, I'm producing that steam because I want to get to that status of media mogul. Why? Because the Lord says that I can. Absolutely. And of course, I know I need that energy. So I'm going to do whatever it is that I have to with what I have in my hands to make certain that I have my energy. Whether it's my supplements, teaching people, about the supplements, whatever it is, my online courses, I want people to understand that you have charge over your energy. Stop letting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, stop letting it suck you into this time warp. Like they're freaking days, for goodness sakes. Like, why are you giving them the power to dictate how your energy is going to be? Oh, it's Monday. Oh, I'm so tired. Why? Why are you tired on a Monday? And funny thing is, I'm never tired on Monday. Really? I'm on fire on Monday. Tuesdays is the kicker. Tuesdays when it's like, whoo, girl, you shot too high. On Monday, you done tired yourself out, right?
Hilarious.
But we have to just understand what it is that we have, and we do have the God-given power to make the moves that we desire.
Wow, it was so much in that. And for those of you that are listening and watching, I wanted to put the two things out there. Well, they're all of them combined, but these are like two of the things what I see Sheniqua in, and she can talk about on any one of them. She will do that a little bit later. But I remember where people used to say you have to niche down, you have to pick one thing. And I do get that to a certain point, but I know for me, I was like, well, that means one thing forever, and I'm just going to stay right here. But I heard someone out, we have a common person that we listen to, and she was like, you can chase two rabbits as long as they're going in the same direction. And I was like,
yes,
what?
Yes, team chasing two rabbits.
You can, as long as they are aligned and going in the same direction. So as you were talking about your media company, and I just love how you did the spin on how it works with energy and your supplements and tying it back in and getting your all of that, your skills. I love that because I think that's encouraging for others to say, okay, I have all of this in me. And I'm going to say we're one of those people that are multi-passionate entrepreneurs. Some people say you can't do that. And I was like, no, you can. But it's not like you're running everything at the same time. You're not trying to do your media company, write books, talk about your wellness, do your courses all on the same day, But it's like you have to have that clarity and the energy to say, okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and just lay all this out, accept it, and then I can make sure that they're all going in the same direction. They all have this common purpose, and we can catch all the rabbits. So, I love
and see, here's the thing. I've been doing nursing for so long. So where it is, quote unquote, a learned, skill, it's innately inside of me now. Yeah. You ever hear people say, oh, I can do this with my eyes closed. So why aren't you? If you can do it with your eyes closed, why aren't you? So doing nursing, and as much as I say, no, you want to focus on being a media mogul, you want to give yourself time to grow. I hear what the greats are saying, and I don't dispute that. But for me, the way my DNA works, this girl likes multiple wheels spinning. Right? I'm sorry, I got multiple wheels spinning, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. And I want to continue to share wellness with people around the globe. But I also want to tell my story and motivate and encourage people to live in their best lives. So why can't I merge them together? They have to merge together. Like I'm making them merge together because I want to do both. So yeah, I'm going after the two rabbits, and there is no conflict because guess what? Them things they can join together. Oh yeah, y'all didn't know? My rabbits they're joined together. Yeah.
And
One's called media and one is called, and yes, they are multiplying. They are. Everywhere we go, they're multiplying. So it keeps the fire going for the chase.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, the same
we're
person.
We're gonna go crazy with that rabbit analogy now. We're gonna go crazy with that.
I know. I'm gonna try to scale it back, but the same person also said, and this goes with what you said, you have to prepare your body for what you're praying for. Sometimes we may not know exactly what we're praying for. Like you weren't saying, "Oh God, give me a media company," but you had already been taking care of your body. I remember when you said, "Well, sis, I got to make some changes. I got to focus on and you were big on that. You didn't know why at the time, but I remember you being very intentional about your body. You started getting yourself aligned and in tune with your body. And so to hear you say that and you not even knowing what was going to be ahead, you didn't know. Look, my girl's been on trips and she's been flying out like I don't know how many times in the last few months, but has she not taken the time to focus on her body, she would have been worn out. So
let me say this. My television show, The Heart of the Matter with Sheniqua Johnson, RN, like I said, it speaks about mental health. It was actually birthed during a season in my life when I struggled with my depression. So and that's what's so important to me about the show, because a lot of people think that when you're going through that there's no growth. And that's a lie. That's a plot by the enemy to make you think that when you're stagnant, that there's no growth. There's still growth. It may not be to that level in which we can see, but once the seed is in the ground, once the water goes on it, there's still going to be some level of growth, whether you're sitting there, cultivating it, whether you're putting the fertilizer, there's still going to be some level of growth. Right. So during that season in my life where I thought that I was being stagnant, my stagnation means that I'm laying in the bed creating. And the creativity is what made me feel good. The creativity is what put those natural endorphins in my body. So it was when I focused on the television show, that's what got me through that season of depression. So I want people to understand that even when there's a season where you're not growing or you're not doing what it is that you believe you should be doing, you still can do something. Like the baby steps will still get you to where you need to be. So that's what stimulated the television show. And what I've noticed is like, wait a minute, those were natural endorphins. Those were natural things that were being produced in my body. Well, so now I go from my natural energy. So what do I do in the mornings? I get on my treadmill, right? So I get on my treadmill. I'm not on my treadmill to lose weight, because when I'm trying to lose weight, I might get on there, I might not. But when I'm doing it for my mental health, oh, baby, I'm going to get on there. Wow. I'm going to get on there like I would take, an antidepressant. Like I'm going to get on that treadmill, not because I want to, because I need to. So that energy that I'm an advocate for is not a want. It's not because, I want more energy. No, you need more energy. So if you're in need of it, then stick around. I'll show you. I'll show you.
She definitely will show you. Yes. And I like to tell people I take my supplements. I'm doctored. I'm not that kind of doctor. So this is why I keep people around me, because when we both started our wellness company, I was like, what is this right? But yes, but I love that you focus on the natural part first, because we do have, our bodies literally do have everything we need, and we just add the supplements, if we're not getting the extras, right? Oh my goodness, I just love talking to you. So let me stay focused. Let's come back. So I can clearly see and hear every time you've gone to another level. When I met you, I thought everything was good and great, and apparently there was more. But I know we hear this phrase, go to the next level up, and we hear that, but I think it's so abstract. Now, because I've been in this work and I can clearly see your different levels, or I can see different levels for people, what does it mean to you, or how would you describe what a next level is so it's not so abstract for other people who may not be in the space to take a deep dive or be around people like you and have these conversations?
Next level is individualized. So it's very subjective. Your definition of next level might be different from my definition of next level. My next level is more. More has been my prayer. And that's literally all I've prayed. I've prayed for more. I was not specific. I didn't say I want more books. I didn't say I want, like, I've never been very specific. I just said more. So next level to me is that more. And you know when you've gotten to that next level because you have a sense of satiety, like, so satisfaction, like a fullness. You're like, that's what I wanted to eat. Yes. That hits the spot. You've heard people say that hits the spot. That's what that next level is. But here's the thing. In one season of your life, you might crave filet mignon. The next season, you might want lobster tail. The next season, you might want caviar, right? So each level is going to bring about a different taste bud, right? And so for each taste bud, so once you get the filet mignon, you're like, all right, I don't know what the big deal was. But when you didn't have it, when you were eating bologna sandwiches, you were like, oh, I need the filet mignon. Like, and then once you get it, you're like, yeah, all right, it's a steak. Okay, next, right? And so now you crave something else. And that to me is how you define your next level. So what's that thing you thirst after? What's that thing you crave? And are you willing to do what it takes to get there?
Wow.
Because if you see your next level and you don't aim for your next level, it's going to cause some discomfort. I've been there before.
Oh, for
several
sure.
times.
Several times. And I'm glad you said that, because my next question was, do you think we ever get to a place where the level we are is good? But you answered it. You said, yeah, you were eating fried bologna sandwiches and you got a taste of filet mignon. But then now you've gotten comfortable with the steak. Oh, it's just steak. Well, then now you're, like you say, your taste buds are looking for more. So you answer the question. No, well, don't let me put words in your mouth, but from that description or that analogy, you can always level up and expand your taste buds. So
yes,
that was a really good analogy right there. I never
you know, as teachers, we full of analogies.
I never thought about that. So if you hear, it was here first with our wellness encourager. But I love that. I love that. So being the brilliant person that you are, and you're going to these next levels. And so all of my analogies are education based. And I remember when I used to say, I don't like to tutor. I don't like to be a tutor, whatever. And that was because the people I knew what tutoring was, but people who would come to me for private tutoring back in the day, it's because they were struggling and they wanted that additional support. But a true tutor gets you to the next level. And it's like you're here now, you get the little extra so you can go here, but the tutor don't drag you, because that's the teacher. The tutor is different. So, and what people don't realize, the super smart or the highly connected, they get those tutors because they were like, we don't have time, we got places to go. So what does that mean? You were already successful, you were doing things, but you still saw that you needed maybe a coach, or I say Coach Sultan, if you've ever heard me say that, because I believe there's a part of us where we need that guidance and someone to keep us on track. And then the consultant sometimes like, just do this, just do what I told you to do, right? So because you were already, I would say, like one of those high achievers, why did you feel the need to get a tutor or a coach in any part of your expansion?
Because I realized that I told you that upper step is calling me. And I realized it's going to take me a long time from my level of knowledge and skill set. It's going to take me a long time to get there. So as you mentioned, a tutor, a coach, right? Same, helps you to get to that next level, and it expedites the amount of time that it's going to take to get there. As long as you're with the right person, right? You're with the right person, you're going to go to the next level. But in every instance, there's always an opportunity to learn something, right? So every time we learn something, we move one step closer and one step closer. So sitting with someone who knows a little something about what it is you're trying to do helps you to get one step closer. And here's the thing. I mean, practically, practical wise, you get one coach. You think, all right, you're budgeting and like, all right, I got money for one coach. Is that coach going to do everything?
Not at all.
Right? Are they going to take care of it? It's like you go to one doctor. So you just want this one doctor, who doesn't really deal with hearts, and the one doctor that, pays attention to my blood pressure. I don't really want him in my lady parts looking around and such, because you don't really specialize in that area. So as a nurse, here's these nursing terms. I like specialties, so who has the specialty in what it is that I'm trying to cultivate? So whatever area of my life that I'm trying to cultivate, if it's my personal development, then I go for a personal development coach. If it's in my finances, then I get a finance coach. If it's in media, then I get a media coach. If it's in sales, I get a sales coach. So you literally seek out individuals who have the knowledge and the skill sets that can take you higher faster.
Wow.
And if it means you have multiple coaches, then get multiple coaches.
Oprah says she has at least 4 on any given time.
Listen.
Yeah.
But in our minds, and again, it goes back to the things you learn. Like, who taught us that? Who taught us we had to get one person? And I know.
Even before that, we would see people being these big time people, and it's like, where did you come from? Remember, coaching used to be a best kept secret.
It was.
In some other
they
spaces.
Didn't talk about that.
They didn't talk about it. But now it's like, okay, now a lot of us have tiptoed in. Now you get to the part of, oh, you only need one. Before, we didn't know they exist.
Yeah. And here's the thing. One of the coaches, and again, we're in the same space. So one of the coaches, I remember when I was looking into her, I looked past her. I wanted to know who her coach was. Now, was that to say that I was financially in an area where I could pay for her coach? I don't know. But how would I know if I never looked? Right. So if you don't go into an opportunity with your expansion in mind, then you're only going to go as far as you can go. So I look behind. Excuse me, Miss, duck down a little bit. Who that? What her name is? All right, good. Now I don't need it right now, but I want to glean. I want to look. I want to see what gems that I can gain by just being in the vicinity. And I'm in the vicinity by working with the first coach.
Wow. That's, I love that you said that. Again, school analogies. When people really, this didn't apply to me, but when people really focus on their doctorate degrees, for real, they go to the school where the person who's the expert in the field where they want to study. Well, I've known people who've been born and raised in Florida, but because they wanted to study a certain thing, they have moved to places like Minnesota because of this particular professor. So now I just happen to have a world-renowned mathematics specialist in my backyard. I didn't go for that. God had already aligned me with her. But when I sat there and think about it, people really we do that in other areas academically, but why won't we do that in our everyday life?
When I graduated from my BSN program, I needed a nursing job. So I've just gotten, all the acclimates to say that I can nurse now. Now I needed a job. You know how many hospitals are in New York? I moved from New York. I was like, where's the best hospital? Google search. Where's the best hospital in the world? And it was Johns Hopkins. And that's where I got my first nursing job. Wow. Because I may not have known it at the time, but I needed the best. I needed the best. And this goes to one of your questions, right? Was about that resume, right? Starting from that resume, I was doing everything that was going to look good on my resume. So me getting, and yes, there was so much competition. Everybody that I had went to nursing school with, everybody was competing, and I'm going for this job. And I said to myself, Lord, I don't want to work with none of these people. No offense if y'all watching, right? I don't want to work with none of them, right? Because it became so competitive. And I said, I don't want to have to beat my chest to say, here I am, I'm the best. I didn't want to have to do that. So what did I do? I said, well, where's the best hospital? And I just literally and it spoke for itself. I got a job at the best hospital, and then it made room for me. So when I did come to New York, I didn't have to beat my chest. I didn't have to say I'm the best at this, the best. I had it on my resume already. And I've literally lived my life like that. So if I'm getting a coach, who's the best?
I love that. And I learned something new about you. I didn't know that about Johns Hopkins. I'm actually reading, I don't have it in here. I'm reading this book, the Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And it started I didn't know about this. And it started the whole thing at Johns Hopkins. So I just thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. All right. So yes, you mentioned the whole point of the STEAM optimization method, and the whole point of me doing this series is talking with people who have moved from resume to reinvention, and to show that yes, a lot of us have been college trained. And my group of people, and I don't want you to feel left out if you are listening, because you can still learn from this, but I'm just saying that my experience and the people I attract are they college trained, and because it's a certain shift, it's a certain way of thinking. And then let's not go to a master's level, like you keep going up, things happen. It's a lot that goes on over here in our heads, so I don't want to leave you out. But we've been on this path of building resumes. In my space, when I was a college professor, it's a CV, but it's the same thing, building that paper. And then we get to the point where the paper is so long we forgot how to reinvent ourselves. So how do we move from resume to reinvention? And I wanted Sheniqua to come on, and all the people that you will hear about, I wanted you to hear that story before I even talked about that, because without me saying, hey, how'd you go from resume to reinvention, you can follow the story in a more organic way. Now, because I like systems and frameworks, now we're going to drill down to it and get into the rapid fire of what does it mean to move from resume to reinvention in a more streamlined way. So STEAM, STEAM. So I want you to tell me your advice as quickly as you can. I'm going to go down all of the areas. So what would be your advice for someone to up level in their skill set?
Learn something. Sit with a coach. Learn something new.
I love it. What about for time optimization?
Just do it. Stop aiming for perfection and get it done.
Wow. Okay. One of your favorites, energy optimization.
Watch what you're putting in your mouth. Watch what you're putting in your mouth. That's your food. Watch what's going in your mouth.
Love it. We don't hear about this a lot. We say the phrase, oh, ambitious people, but if we really drill down to it, I won't let it all out here. It's not always welcome. So what is your advice about ambition and optimizing, being ambitious? I'll just say that.
Grow for it. Not go, grow for it.
Oh, wow. Grow for
There's
it.
nothing wrong with ambition. It's what gets you up in the morning.
Ooh, I love it. And
something, so continue to grow for it.
I love that. Grow, not just go for it, grow for it. And something a lot of people don't talk about, again, money optimization. What is your advice on that?
It's yours. Go get it. It's there. It's yours for the taking. But we're so busy sitting around asking for, sir, can I please have $40,000 a year to come spend 8 hours a day with you and learn up these little children in this building? Child, you better go get your money. Go get your money.
Wow. See, this is why you all need to be in programs with me or masterminds with me. She's part of my inner circle, and we get down to the nitty gritty about why we're able to say certain phrases like that. They don't just come
conversation. The conversation is definitely different when you're sitting in a different environment, because you know what, to be honest, and part of me, you know, that innate part wants to apologize. I didn't mean to step on anybody's toes. If I did, that conversation wasn't for you. But that conversation was for those individuals who are on the fence and who are trying to decide, do I need to get a coach? Should I take that next step? What should I do? That conversation was for you all. So stop pitter-patting around, sitting on the little seat. Go get it. You want it? Go get it.
These are the people I roll with, okay? She is the reason why I was able to finish my second book from start to end in about 90 days, because she was like, what are you waiting on? So that's what I'm saying. You need to be around different type of people to.
And I love that story when you were writing your book, because you were going through. Listen, you were going through emotionally, physically, you were going through. And here's where that wellness, that encourager came in. I was like, oh, you got a headache? Oh, poor baby. Drink some water. Go lay down for a little bit and then get up and finish writing your book.
You did.
Like, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna stroke your hair. Woo, woo, woo. But go. You said you want it. Go get it.
And I love that. Now, I mean, all of these probably won't be this long, but it's different. I love that, because I'll just put this out there, because of my title and how I show up. A lot of people are, I don't want to say afraid, they just opt not to say anything to me and let me off the hook. Now, sometimes I'll use it like, it's just let me off, but then you get around people who see past that and recognize what's behind it. It was like, no, I don't care about this title or where you are. You said you wanted more. Let's go get it. And I was like, oh, it hurts. I don't know. But
I know, baby. I know. Woo, woo, woo. But keep going.
Had I had anybody else, I probably would have. I mean, the book would have still gotten done, but not in that time frame, and probably not with the level of focus. It would have been different, because I would have been able to take my time, and she made me stand on my tippy toes and reach. So I'll be forever grateful. And if you follow me, you'll see how, well, I won't get into it. It was just so much. Okay, so those were great advice tips. I do want to say this. I have two more questions. One, we hear you shared a lot about what you do: media, speaker, author, publishing company, wellness products. I said media, but it's really your own TV show. There are a lot of people who can go search for all of those things, but because you have a certain set of brilliance, what is your USP, your unique service proposition?
I'm just me. I don't try to be anything other than me. So the compassion side of me can stroke your hair while you're going through. But if you tell me that this is your goal, then I've got your hand, and I'm not letting go unless you say, let go of my hand. And then I let go of your hand. But if you tell me this is what you want to do, then I'm here to pull you along. Right. And not necessarily like to physically, pull you, but to encourage you. So I use my God-given gifts to encourage you to want to go along. Right. So we're out here chasing rabbits together. Like, it's not like a solo thing, like, or I'm chasing the rabbit. I'm like, come be, look, it's a rabbit. No, I'm not dragging you against your will. But what I am doing is, and what God has allowed me to do, is to use my life as an example. And that's what makes me unique, is that my life is literally an example. And I told you all that I have depression. It's something, it comes in waves. Do I know how to handle it? Now I do. Do I know what to do when it hits? Now I do. I didn't always, but I'm still able to grow. I'm still able to produce. I'm still able to get to that next level. I'm still able to expand. Why? Because I'm just being true to who I am. And that's all I can be. I'm good at it. I've been doing it for a while now. I'm really good at it. So therefore, like, when I'm with my business is literally me. My ideal client is literally me. Someone who was me a few years ago. And I'm like, nah, girl, come on. Like, I see the other side. Come on. And if you go past me, I'm gonna be like, how you get there? Remember me? I helped you get here. So let's go together. So it's not about, I'm not in this complex, well, I'm the educator, I'm the mogul, I'm the this. No. I'm able to learn because the Sheniqua, is always open for great connection and seeing how I can get to that next level. So It's just me.
I love it. I will have all of Shaniqua's information down below because you really want to connect and however you see fit, you really do want to connect. So final thing, and this could, could ruffle a little feathers. I don't care. That's what we do. Do you
That's right.
believe, do you believe brilliance is a privilege? No right or wrong. Just want to hear your thoughts.
It is a privilege, in my opinion, because, and the reason it's become a privilege, it may not have set out to be a privilege, but the reason it's become a privilege is because everybody doesn't use it. Everyone has it available to them, but not everybody uses it. If that ruffles feathers, that means you're probably one of the ones who are not using it in its full potential. If you want me to apologize for it, I can, but honestly speaking, it is a privilege. The fact that we woke up today is a privilege. The fact that we woke up in our right mind with use of our limbs and our God-given talents resting with us, and you don't do anything with it, you don't go after. Did you realize that your more is not about you? Your more is about the more people who your life is going to impact. And if I don't take that next step, how can anybody coming from behind me, how can they get to the next step? I'm standing in the way. You can't get to the next step because I'm standing in the way. Talking about, I'm not going, I'm scared. Wow. No, whether you're scared or not, you still need to move your feet because there are people coming behind you. And they're going to need your advice. They're going to need your encouragement. They're going to need your testimony to help them get there. So your more is never about you. But if you sit on your brilliance, if you don't utilize everything that God has given you, everything that you learn, all the skill sets that you paid for, right? You paid for them. I was having a conversation earlier today about the student loans. Well, you're over here fighting to get the loans canceled and everything, but you haven't used the skills that you bought. So how you gonna return it, right? You didn't even get all of the use out of it. Go use it. But use it in an expansion way, like step out of the box. Maybe it's not meant for you to color in the lines. Maybe it's meant for you to color outside. So use what it is that you have and stop thinking that because you have it today, you're going to always have it tomorrow, because that's not the case. We know plenty of people who amnesia, you lose your memory. Mm-hmm. What if there was a day to come where you actually lost the skill set that you paid for? You ain't gonna be able to get no money back on that one.
You have snatched edges, having clutching pearls. If you are listening to this and you're not seeing the visual, when she said that about the student loans and you're asking for it to be repaid, but you're not using it, I had to look away and like, oh wow. Mm-hmm. Because that is a hot topic in this season, depending on when you're listening to it. And that got me talking about if you woke up with amnesia, because I know for me, I jumped to, well, dementia, or I don't want that to be in my old age, but not thinking about it could literally happen tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Wow. So that for me is still putting fire under, I got some stuff to produce and leave out because, wow.
It's the manna.
Wow.
God gives us the manna for this day. Not for you to store it up and to save it for tomorrow or the next day. It's for today. So before you close your eyes tonight, have you done everything that the Lord put in for you to do today? And if you haven't, once you're finished listening to this, you need to start working. And I hope, it's my prayer that this conversation did ignite something in you, that you will go after whatever your more is. I can't define that. Dr. V can't define that. Whatever your more looks like, I pray that you now have the strength and the resilience and the wherewithal to say, I'm going for it. By any means necessary, I'm going for it. So go for your more.
Well, I don't have anything else to add. That was the perfect way to end this conversation about what does it look like to move from resume to reinvention, and how does the framework of the STEAM optimization work in real life. And with that, I am going to say good day, good night. I will have Sheniqua Johnson's information down below, and you will hear all the ways to connect with her. And if you are still interested in everything that I do, you know how to reach me and connect with me as well. if I were you, I would connect with us now. And I'm saying this is in the year of 2022. And as I'm
Tell them.
looking over at my vision board and I know what my sister has and what I'm feeling inside, I think you might want to connect with us
I'm
now.
just saying.
I know it's a lot happening out there, but one of the things that Sheniqua said was the compassion part and being in the trenches and understanding. It's a reason why I talk about learned brilliance and born brilliance. Everyone doesn't have it like that duality. But I'll leave it right there. I'm just gonna say you might want to get in right now. All right, that's all I have for you. Hope you remember to be well, be empowered, be bold, and be brilliant. Until next time, bye.
Good night.